You have to be willing to do the unthinkable. You have to be willing to do things that go against popular opinion. You are going to have to do things that you are in alignment with as a healer, as someone that is meant to show up. And it does not always look ideal to everyone, but that is the beauty of your path. Divine greetings and gratitude, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is KaSandra. I'm the witch, author, poet, and performer of Magic of Eden. Welcome to your new spiritual safe haven. And if you guys are returning, hey family, welcome back to our sacred garden. I am always honored, excited, and elated to be in your presence. First and foremost, please excuse my appearance. It is late at night. It's about, I think, around 10 o'clock or something like that. And I was actually pulling some cards before I get ready to lay down. And I ended up using oracle cards, which is so interesting because typically I usually pull tarot because I feel that tarot really does help me to go deep into the energy that I need to know about and things of that nature. But for whatever reason, I felt the need to use oracle cards. And it's so funny because I actually pulled some tarot cards earlier, but for whatever reason, my spirit was just like, let's just kind of keep these to the side. And I was like, all right, cool. And I also ended up pulling some oracle cards, and I'm going to make sure that I link them down below. Now, the reason for this video is because I was guided to do a follow-up video about something that I posted earlier. And I'm going to link it somewhere in the video, so just stay tuned for that. If you guys want to understand this video, then you'd have to go back and listen to the last video in its entirety to understand the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, because this message is not going to resonate with everybody, and it's okay that it won't. Now, moving forward, the reason why I'm coming on here now is because I wanted to share, again, these messages. These messages came to me, and these are things that weighed on my heart. So again, this does not invalidate anything that was said in the previous video. In fact, what this does is actually shed a little bit more light. In fact, this video is not meant to validate anything that was said in that video. That is meant to be an encouraging message for anyone that may have struggled with similar themes regarding the last video that was posted. Now, of course, I can only talk about what I have went through personally. That is the best way that I can connect with other people, unless I am giving some type of spiritual guidance or spiritual wisdom or whatever, right? And in this instance, I do want to have a more up close and personal, conversation with you guys. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys a few cards that came out that I think are important for the theme of this video. The cards that I have here are mistakes, forgiveness, there's something better, and trust. And here is the mistakes card. If you guys can see that, I believe this is from Tasha Silver, or by Tasha Silver. Here is forgiveness. I know my nails look crazy, you guys. Don't worry. I'll get them redone sooner or later. There's something better from this Angel Oracle deck, which I've actually been really drawn to angels recently a lot, or like the Angels deck a lot, and also trust. Now, I wanted to go ahead and read you guys the mistakes card. Allow me to know it's okay to make mistakes. Let me always take care of the inner child so he or she feels loved no matter what. Now, one of the things that I feel like it is extremely important for me to highlight is the fact that in the last video, we kind of went over some of the reasons why we have had trouble with tapping into our divine femininity and how it started off at home, especially in regards to the mother figure. Now, one of the things that came through in my own reading was that it is okay for you to make mistakes, and it is also okay for someone else to make mistakes. And I truly do feel that sometimes the mistakes that we make, or the mistakes that our mothers make, I feel like it all happens divinely. And the reason is because we are showing ourselves, or the universe is showing us through each other, that we have the capacity to heal from things that we thought that we could never heal from. And I think that the reason why this is important is because when you make a mistake, right? Sometimes it's extremely daunting, and sometimes the mistakes that people make are unforgivable. There are other mistakes that are considered forgivable. It just depends on who you ask, and it also depends on what happened. In my instance, in no way, shape, or form do I ever mean to paint anyone to be a monster. In no way, shape, or form is it ever my intention to make it seem as though a person is terrible for the mistakes that they've made. If anything, I like to acknowledge the hardships. I like to acknowledge the trauma. I like to acknowledge all the things that happened that played a role in my upbringing, and also just forgiveness and trauma in general, because you have to be willing to see where something started in order to understand the present. Sometimes you have to go back in the past in order to understand what's going on in the present, so that you can then allow yourself to be open to the future. But the reason why I feel like so many people have a lot of issues with like their parental figures or with their mothers, especially with mothers and daughters, is because the daughter sometimes does not understand how to open up their hearts to forgiveness. Now, I am someone who actually is a lot more fortunate to have a mother that was willing to sit down and listen to my pain and listen to my hardships and whatnot, and how things that happened in the past, how they affected me. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I going to give every single last little detail, because I don't think that's important right now. What I feel is important right now is the fact that the mistakes that we sometimes make, we make them because we are unsure or we don't know how to get through life. And sometimes we ourselves call out for help through our mistakes. And not all the time do we have anyone to help guide us. Not everyone has a proper guidance to help them navigate through the mistakes that they made. And not everyone is as fortunate to have someone that is willing to forgive them, to show them kindness, to show them love, to show them compassion. And I feel like the reason why is because so many people get so caught up on their pain that they forget the beautiful things that people do, that they forget the fact that some people try their absolute best to make up for the mistakes that they made. Now, I was fortunate enough, and I am fortunate enough to have a mom who actually is open and was open to, again, listen to me and also acknowledge the mistakes that she made. And not everyone is as fortunate. So to me, I felt like that to me is worthy of her receiving her flowers, because I feel like not everyone has that type of mother. Not everyone has that kind of individual in their lives. And when you allow yourself to understand that it is okay for someone to make mistakes, I feel that that opens up your heart space, that opens up the heart chakra to more understanding and to more compassion, because everyone is just simply trying their best. In no way, shape, or form am I saying or insinuating that you should just be open to abuse because of the sake of just understanding mistakes. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that we are all doing our absolute best. In the same way that we would want people to show us grace and compassion, it is also okay for us to extend other people grace and compassion. And that's something that I feel that I did with my mother and that I do with other people. The same way there are people who do it with me. I am not a perfect individual. No one is a perfect individual. Some people have mistakes that they regret and some people don't. Everyone makes mistakes. And I feel that people who truly do want to do better will do better. And I can say that luckily for me, like that was the case for me and my mother. Now, it doesn't just have to exclusively be you and your mom or you and your dad or you and a parental figure. It really could just simply be with anyone. With forgiveness comes understanding to a certain degree. You don't have to understand everything to forgive, but at the same time, you have to understand that forgiveness is not just for the other person. It is also for you. And I'm going to be honest, contrary to popular belief, sometimes forgiveness is also for the other person, because not everybody understands or has truly received forgiveness before, and so they don't know how to forgive, and then it becomes this perpetual cycle of people making mistakes and no forgiveness. And people then wonder, okay, well, when does the cycle of karma ever end, right? If you believe in karma. And I do feel that sometimes the way that we can break these cycles is by forgiving the things that people have done in the past, and also us forgiving ourselves for the amount of energy, time, and effort that we believe that we wasted. We sometimes have to go in and forgive ourselves for the things that we also have done. And I feel like once we fully accept what cannot be changed, once we fully accept the fact that we can only change in this moment, I feel that that is when breakthroughs do happen. And that is what I feel like Spirit is saying to you now. You have to trust and know that if you forgive yourself and that if you forgive other people, that all will be well. You have to understand that if you forgive yourself and other people, that in itself is a gateway to healing that can help you bring harmony not only to your own life, but also amongst other people. More than likely, if you are someone listening to this right now, you are more than likely a healer in some ways, right? Or more than likely, you're meant to step up in the forefront. But how can you truly be ready and be a leader if you don't lead by example? And sometimes you have to go through the road that is not always paced. And sometimes that looks like forgiving when you feel like you really do not want to. And now, if you feel like there are some things that people have done to you that are unforgivable, I completely understand that. In my case, that's just not what it was. At the end of the day, I know what helped me, and I'm only sharing what I feel on my heart that can hopefully help you. Everyone is doing the absolute best that they can. No one knows what to do coming here. No one knows all the steps. No one really knows everything, because what would be the point of you incarnating if you knew everything? And not only that, I'm going to be honest. In no way, shape, or form am I attempting to be brutal or insensitive. What I do want to say, though, is that sometimes the things that we go through, the hardships that we go through, we have to be able to endure them and overcome them. Because if you are supposed to be someone that steps up to be a leader, how can you speak to anything if you've never experienced anything? And that, to me, is my own personal experience. And again, I feel that, I was lucky enough to have a mother who is just outrageously stubborn, who I feel never gave up on her kids, no matter who it was. Like, I feel that with her, because she's a Sagittarius, right? So she has an extremely immense big heart, especially I read her birth chart. Her heart is super enormous. And I feel that the best thing that her kids or even me could have ever given her was the love and the recognition that she deserved, right? Now, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to paint her again or paint anyone to be a negative person. At the end of the day, I am only sharing what I feel is on my heart to show, because I want to, and not because anyone guilt tripped me into sharing anything. I just wanted to make that clear. Anyways, moving forward, I also feel like with this, there's something better in the trust, is that remember that when you allow yourself to open up to this space of forgiveness, or when you allow yourself to open up to this love, you are essentially telling the universe that you are welcoming and healing. That is one of the most beautiful things that you can ever do. And the reason is because sometimes it is the hardest. I feel that if you are coming here from listening to that last video, you wanted to come here because there was something that you knew resonated. And I feel what resonates is the fact that you know that you have a big heart to forgive as well. The same way you are not willing to give up on your dreams, the same way you are not willing to give up on the people that you love, the people that love you made mistakes, but they are also not willing to give up on you. And that is the reason why they try endlessly in order to make up for the things that they've done. And I also feel that there are people in this world who do not deserve to continuously pay for something over and over and over and over again when they have consistently showed up in order to make it right. And I feel like that is something that the devil card actually teaches. And I'm going to go into that in another video. Spirit wants you to have the confidence enough to forgive yourself and to forgive others, because everyone is just simply trying their best and no one has the rule books to life. If anything, it is the beauty of the unknown that keeps us alive, or that gives us this thrill. It is the unknown that allows us to explore and allows us to expand our consciousness if we are open to it. And that's something that I feel like also Spirit wants you to know. You have to have the confidence enough to say, you know what, if I allow those things to keep me anchored to this, I will never be able to fully explore anything else. I will never really be able to experience this life of abundance, because I'm constantly worried about what's going on in the past. Now, I do feel that our past sometimes does catch up to us, because they are reminders of where our values were at that time. And now when we look at the past from a more evolved standpoint, we understand that our values change depending on where we're at in life, and also what we've endured. And also the way that we show up for other people and the way that we show up for ourselves also change. And I feel that sometimes forgiving others for their mistakes helps you with that process. It's this element of forgiveness and this element of openness that allows you to tap into that divine femininity, because I feel like the world now is actually progressing more into this divine feminine space. The divine feminine right now is being highlighted. So for anyone that is coming from the last video, please understand that that was only one aspect as to why some individuals have such a hard time tapping into that divine femininity, right? And I want you guys to know that if you also want your divine femininity to thrive, that comes with you forgiving people, and or that comes with this sense of acceptance of the things, again, that you cannot change. Allow yourself to become free by freeing other people from the things that they have done, because there are people who love you. Like I said before, several times in this video, I feel that I was actually lucky and blessed to have someone that was willing to sit through the pain with me, because it was not easy, and it is not easy. So for anyone that is still trying to heal from mother wounds or heal this divine feminine energy in regards to the mother, I do feel like as long as your mother is open and willing to speak to you, as long, it's not even just about your mother, it could be about your partner, it could be about your friend, as long as that person is willing to open up themselves and be vulnerable and be honest about what they could have done better, as long as you are receptive to what you can also do better, that is when you can allow change. But you have to be willing to forgive yourself, and you have to be willing to forgive the other person if it is going to work. If you are wanting to set your intention on newness, on new relationships, on new partnerships, you have to allow yourself to let certain things go. Because if you, again, continue to harbor over these things, or if you continue to obsess, and if you continue to constantly give your energy, then you are going to bring that baggage into these other relationships, into these new connections. And sometimes the new connection just simply looks like you starting over with your mother, or you starting over with your partner, or you entering into this other space of, or this new phase of life with them. Right? And I feel that if you are fortunate enough to have someone who loves you, who wants to make up for the mistakes, Spirit says to you now to be open to that, if that is what you so choose, because at the end of the day, you have free will. Again, this video is not for everyone, and it's okay that this video is not for everybody. I'm going to stand firm and rooted and grounded in the previous video, and I'm going to stand firm and rooted and grounded in this one, because I know that what I am doing is coming from a pure place. When we do open ourselves up to forgiveness and actually forgive, that also comes with you not constantly throwing someone's past in their face. If you are going to forgive someone, the best thing that you can do is to not constantly bring it up in a way that is harmful, in a way that is not constructive, in a way that does not help yourself, them, or your soul tribe. Because being a healer, that basically means that you have a duty and a responsibility. Of course, I'm Capricorn energy, so you have a duty and a responsibility to understand that it is imperative for you not to constantly throw things at someone when they're at their lowest, or you just throw something at someone because you feel like you want to at that moment, because you feel entitled. Also, you forgiving someone does not invalidate your experience. It does not mean that you in any way, shape, or form did not go through what you went through. Forgiveness means that you are acknowledging the fact that you went through what you went through, but you are not allowing yourself to be victimized by your past. And that also means that you are allowing yourself to, what Spirit is saying, create a clean slate for you to open up to the newness. So that's something that Spirit wants you to also remember. You are not invalidating yourself. You are validating yourself without the need to victimize yourself, without the need to demonize someone else. Do you see what I mean? So I feel like that is what Spirit wants us to know now, and that is the power of forgiveness. You have to be willing to do the unthinkable. You have to be willing to do things that go against popular opinion. You are going to have to do things that you are in alignment with as a healer, as someone that is meant to show up. And it does not always look ideal to everyone, but that is the beauty of your path. Forgiveness helps you to tap into the authenticity of your path and what you have going, especially when you shut the world out, because you are not allowing yourself to be open to the expectations of other people. And that is pretty much what I have to give to you guys tonight. I know that this was a bit more random, but I just allowed myself to go with the energy, and this is the message that I felt that I had on my heart to share, because I felt divinely guided and led to share it. I want you guys to know one last thing. Always do what you are divinely led to do. And if that means forgive, allow yourself to forgive. And with some of you guys, your way to healing is through forgiveness right now. And I hope that by you listening to this video, that you know that when you walk with forgiveness, you open yourself up to gratitude, because where there is forgiveness, there is gratitude. And I really want you guys to remember that. Have gratitude for the things that people that you are forgiving did do. Have gratitude for the fact that they still showed up for you in the best ways that they knew how. Everything that is done with a pure heart is good in the eyes of the divine. And that there in itself is enough. Whether we have our own human feelings attached to them or not, what is good in the eyes of the divine if it is leading to healing. And sometimes we have to bypass this human understanding and go with our higher divinity in order to help us get through things. And I know that that's something that helped me with my mom and helped me with other people who have done things, and also help other people with me. So anyways, I love you guys. I hope that this message resonates with someone. I hope that this message reaches exactly who it needs to reach. Thank you so much for tuning into this message with me, and I will catch you guys in my next video.